Hi, Greg and Linda, and anybody else who's watching. I'm one of the invisible, severely affected people who have ME. I have had this illness a long time. Became ill. I'm just going to shoot through this bit. I became ill suddenly in 1982 after a respiratory infection. And I was left with a lot of neurological symptoms, bewildering symptoms, and in those days, well, I didn't hear about ME until a couple of years into the illness. I was moderately affected, and I had some quality of life at this time. In fact, I got married and had a daughter, my lovely daughter, and so obviously I did have a quality of life, and then blew it majorly in 1989. It was a hot summer, and you know, like most people, you want to live, you know, and I felt better in the warm weather anyway with the ME, the symptoms. I wasn't in so much pain, and so therefore I was kind of tempted to do more exercise, and I did a lot of swimming and stuff, and tragically by September I was bedridden, and my daughter was 4 at the time, and she came into bed with me and she just said, "Mummy, I'm frightened. You might be dying." And I'm doing this video not only just to tell people how bad this illness can get, you know, because since 1989 there has been no recovery at all, and in fact it's been a gradual decline, and it's extremely concerning really that these, I haven't read the guidelines, but you know, Greg, you've given a good précis of it all in your videos, you know, that they're advocating this CBT, graded exercise therapy, as being therapeutic for people with ME. In a sense, I scored an own goal in 1989. I experimented with the exercise theory which was around at the time, you know, and I'd gone from being someone who set up the group, you know, I was a person to try every alternative therapy that was going, and you know, positive person, and anyway, I would never have believed the difference. So I really would say to anybody out there who has ME and who has you know, true ME, because I think that, you know, there is obviously a great confusion, people who have like a fatigue state, and if you haven't got all the other neurological symptoms, you know, like as defined by Dr. Melvin Ramsey and Charles Shepherd in his book Living with ME, then you may well get better with exercise, because obviously it can make you feel better exercising, but it's extremely dangerous with true ME. And I would just say to people, really, really think twice, just don't go ahead and do it, because the difference between being moderately affected with ME and severely affected is huge. I would never have believed it in 1989 when I became bedridden in that September. The pain was unbelievable. I mean, horrendous pain, and I was just totally crippled up. I thought it must be another illness. I just couldn't believe, and I lost 3 stone in weight at the time as well. The difference between moderate and severe is very great. ME is a tragedy for anybody, you know, a lot of people who just have it moderately mildly, they can't work again, they can't play sport like they used to. Some people thankfully do seem to get some degree of recovery, but really be extremely careful, because if this video that I'm doing, if it stops anybody making the mistake that I did, it's worthwhile. And plus I wanted to be in solidarity with you, Greg and Linda, and all the ME community out there. We suffered a hell of a long time, and this is what they're coming up with, CBT and GET. It's totally ridiculous. I'm trying to quickly complete this video after about 3 weeks of not being able to do any of it. Yeah, CBT and GET. Jeff Crowhurst in the 25% group, which I belong to, supports the severely affected people. He speaks of the powerful British psychiatric lobby, which pursues a discredited policy of behavioural intervention and graded exercise therapy. And he goes on to say, there is not one published paper, as opposed to opinion, proving that ME/CFS is a psychiatric condition, but more than 2,000 papers published internationally proving that ME is a neurological, physical illness, and that graded exercise therapy is especially dangerous to sufferers. And this is all the feedback that's coming back to the patient care groups. And it's just being ignored, and it's not being listened to. And in the meantime, people are going from moderate to severe. And I'll just quickly quote from Dr. Charles Shepherd's book, Living with ME, on page 210. He actually says, it's worth noting that doctors have now been warned by their medical defence insurers that they have to take just as much care when recommending exercise programs as they do when prescribing powerful drugs. Patients who subsequently relapse or experience a significant increase in symptoms as a result of inappropriate exercise programs may well have a case for taking legal action. I think it just needs one case to happen. Perhaps they're relying on the fact that people are so damn ill, their carers so demoralised, exhausted, that it will never happen. But surely it will, because this is a terrible injustice that is happening. And finally, let's not forget those who have committed suicide because of this illness, sometimes as a direct result of unkind comments and lack of understanding by perhaps a consultant neurologist who didn't even know what ME was or have any sympathy for the condition. So for them too, we have to fight for justice. We have medical science on our side. The evidence is there. It's really amassing, and there's no evidence at all for it being a psychological condition that can be controlled somehow by our will. If only. Wouldn't it be easy? We wouldn't have been here, would we? Anyway, I just want to say hi, solidarity with all of you guys, and together we've got justice. We must believe.